Have you ever felt like you don't quite fit in? Like the very thing that makes you stand out feels more like a burden than a gift? My guest today knows that feeling intimately. By the time she was 12 years old, she was 6'1", towering over everyone in her class, feeling awkward and unsure of herself. But then a coach saw something in her. That one invitation to join a basketball team didn't just change her game, it changed her life. Today, Angela Lewis is a communication strategist, former professional athlete, and an author who helps leaders and high performers communicate with confidence, with clarity, and presence. She's here to share her journey, all the lessons she learned along the way by showing up completely 100% as herself. And now she's helping others find their voice, including the next generation through her upcoming book. If you've ever struggled to stand tall in your story, this conversation is for you. Let's get into it. You're listening to the Soul Aligned Self-Care Podcast. I'm your host, Tina Stinson, and I had a stroke at the age of 39 from stress and burnout that shook my world. Now I'm laying it all out, the deep level self-care practices and mindset shifts that I needed that kept me healthy, balanced, and thriving. Join me in this intimate space as we explore healing, resilience, and the soul's journey to alignment. This is where real conversations about deep-level self-care happen. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to the Soul Aligned Self-Care Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Tina. I'm so happy we could finally make this happen.
I know we've been trying to do this for a while, so I'm glad that we're here too. I was like, today's the day.
Yes, yes.
So, to get started, if you could tell the audience a little bit about yourself, the work that you do, and how that came to be, how you got there.
Sure. So I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and I grew up playing basketball in the backyard with my brothers. I'm 6'1". I've been this tall since I was 12 years old and didn't feel very comfortable. And a coach saw me one day and asked me to play on the team, and it was an all-girls team. And what I didn't know that it was a travel team. So my life has been very much deeply rooted in sports. I went on to play NCAA Division I basketball and professionally coached college basketball and started working with young people. Some of it is teaching basketball, but others was building programs for them. And from there, I led a nonprofit to help kids learn about entrepreneurship. And so I met these people, Tina, for the first time in my life, who decided how they wanted to live and then built their life around how they wanted to live versus
Yeah.
working traditionally and then putting everything else around that. And that moment really transformed me because I didn't even know that you could decide how you want to live first. So that led me to doing a basketball camp in Manizales, Colombia. And I moved there and lived there for 2.5 years in
Oh,
Colombia,
cool.
which was tremendous experience because it was I was able to relax. I was able to really immerse myself in another culture. And I started a PR agency while I was there, helping people get booked on podcasts and had a lot of incredible conversations with hosts that really reignited my desire to speak more. And this is how I landed where I am today. So I've published multiple books. And when I was in conversation, people would ask about those books. And I was asked to speak at a local Boys and Girls Club in St. Louis. And it was for K through 5. It was elementary school kids. And so none of my books to date were for that demographic. And when I got
Mm.
off the phone with the person who invited me, immediately it hit in my spirit, I need to write a children's book. And so A Ball and a Chance is my new book that'll be coming out soon, which I'm really, really excited about.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Um, I have to go back. I have to rewind all the way back to when you said you were 6 feet tall, starting from age 12.
Yes.
Oh my God. Because
Yes.
now this is going to sound ridiculous, but when I was in the sixth grade, I was the height I am now, but I am a tiny person. I'm like 5'2", but I was gigantic compared to everyone else.
Yes.
And they treated me like I was a freak. And yeah. I remember like everybody giving me a hard time because I was taller, I was like more advanced in bodily ways.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had gone through puberty younger. And so I
Yeah.
can't
So I
imagine
can imagine.
how hard it was for you to be 6 feet tall at that age. Like you were in like your own world probably because the
Yes.
boys grow later. Like the boys aren't tall either. And it's like, so that must have been really hard. And it's kind of cool that you found like a place where you were embraced, at that point in your life. I think that was probably a very positive moment. And then bringing it back all together to you doing the work with the children is absolutely amazing. And I think that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
So if you could tell everybody a little bit about some of the books that you've written. But before that,
Yes.
I just want to apologize while you were talking and my computer told me that my power was low, even though I was plugged in, and that's why I freaked out and bent over. So if everybody saw me like going under my desk or whatever, that's what I was doing. So thanks for holding it together for me for a second.
You're welcome. Not a problem. Not a problem at all.
So tell me about some of the books that you've
Sure.
written. I'm really curious.
So the first book is The Game-Changing Assist: Six
Okay.
Simple Ways to Choose Success. And that book is about a framework for success that anyone can use, but I wrote it specifically for young women. And so it's about having a vision for your future, listening to positive voices, understanding the values to get to that vision, making it through the valley, reaching the point of victory, and volunteering. And so you
Hmm.
can assess kind of where you are based on those principles. And then Post Moves, The Female Athlete's Guide to Dominate Life After College. That book, I interviewed 15 women who all play college sports from various backgrounds, various levels. And
Hmm.
they just shared kind of what was important to them as they transitioned to their careers from sport and the twists and turns that life inevitably takes in an
That's
effort to
interesting.
give some guidance. And then A Ball and a Chance. A Ball and a Chance is about a little girl named Destiny who's very tall. Go figure. And it's a really beautiful story. All of it is based on my experience. It's about little Destiny who is very tall, feels out of place, and she has an aunt who's a basketball coach, and her aunt invites her to a basketball camp in Colombia. And she's nervous, but she decides to go. And her aunt tells her, always remember, it's new, it's hard, it's possible. With courage and heart, you'll be unstoppable. And so throughout the book, Destiny is reminding herself of that little mantra. And of course, she gains more confidence. I can't give it all away, but it is such a fun
Yeah.
book about culture, connection, and how a community together can help kids develop more confidence.
I love that. And what age group do you think is a really good age to read this book? Not that it would be, I think it would be good for adults as well, but as like, what age do you think it really would be beneficial?
So the book third through fifth, however, and the only reason I say third is because that's the age when kids really start playing
Hmm.
with rules and the baskets at 10 feet. However, I envision adults reading it to kids at any age, and the illustrations are so vibrant. So even if it's a first grader or kindergartner, they're going to be able to get the gist of the book based
Hmm.
on just the illustrations alone. So
And
very, very excited.
I love how you've made it kind of your purpose to help the next generations kind of rise up and help them move forward. Um, Tell me a little bit about what sports has meant for you and how it really helps. It's your personal self-care. So if you could talk a little bit about that, I think it's really important.
Yes, yes. I want to go back just a little bit about how basketball came to be for me. I
Hmm.
was not looking to play. So I come to basketball in a very pure space. I just played in the backyard with my brothers. I wasn't trying to play on a select team and get a college scholarship. I know youth sports today can be a bit intense, for lack of a
Hmm.
better word, for a lot of kids feeling pressure. So when the coach asked me to play, I didn't feel pressure to be great. and I wasn't good. So like I wasn't very good. And so for me, the backyard, playing on the outdoor courts, playing at the park is where I fell in love with the game. I didn't fall in love with the game with the trainer. It was the court. So for me today, I keep basketballs in my car.
Yeah.
Tina, I live in Dallas, Texas now. I forgot to mention that. I'm in Dallas and it is warm. I will
Mm,
pull up to the park on any given day and just get shots up
hmm.
because there's nothing that compares to the sound of the ball going through the nets. It's super therapeutic. When I've gone through the most difficult of times, sport has been there. In my early 20s, I went through a divorce and I was coaching college basketball, and I would go in the gym by myself and just shoot. And
Hmm.
the movement, the experiencing the the movement combined with being um, able to just escape. There's no phones, there's no notifications. It's just me being able to just enjoy the movement and enjoy the game, which is just a great escape.
Yeah.
In addition, I mentioned earlier my father passed in August, and I was in St. Louis for over a month when he was transitioning, and I went to the local rec center. It was just like the place where I went. I saw people from high school who I hadn't seen in years, and it was the place that allowed me to just get away and experience joy in the midst of some tremendous sadness.
Hmm.
And while I would sit with dad, we would watch documentaries and we would watch games, and it was just our thing. Super Bowl was our thing. We'd watch it every year. He and I have a Super Bowl party. And so sport has really been therapeutic in addition to a great escape and movement and joy.
Yeah, I agree. As I was talking about earlier before we hopped on, that running is kind of like that for me and has been for a really long time. And when I was going through my divorce, I used to run sometimes 10 miles, like when I was like really frustrated, like just take off. And I think because I ran so much that it was very comfortable for me. And I would imagine you probably feel the same way about basketball. So it wasn't like challenging for me to run 10 miles. It was just, it was a release. It was a way for me to
Mhm.
release like any anger or any stress. And like you said, you go to that place. It's kind of like that state of flow that you go into
Yes.
where there's like no time passing. So it could you could be doing it for a really long period of time and it feels quick, or were just doing it for a little while and it felt like a couple of hours. It's just that it's where the time piece that disappears kind of, and you're just in that state of flow and nothing
Just
else really matters in that moment. And I think that that is the best kind of self-care that you could do for yourself. Learning what does that for you, whether it's basketball or
Mhm.
running or whatever your sport is, or it could be gardening, or God knows, it could be so many different things. But I think it's really important. Another aspect, something that I never really experienced because I didn't play any type of group sports, but my kids did. My oldest daughter specifically played every sport, every sport. Like I was exhausted,
It's a lot.
but she didn't seem exhausted, but I was. But anyway, I would think that there's some kind of support within team sports for a lot of people. If you could talk a little bit about that kind of support and what that did for you.
Yes, the team gives you, I always say any court in the world feels like home because you're instantly in an environment where people are playing and play creates a level of connection that you don't often get, especially like as you get older. You're not just running around playing all the time. So as a kid, it was wonderful to be in an environment where everyone was working towards the same goals, where we were having a great time. And I met some incredible people who I'm still friends with today through playing sports. And I grew up in a house where I was the only girl.
Hmm.
So I needed some girls to hang out with because it's very different being around your brothers all the time. So I was grateful for those friendships. One situation that really touched me and I speak about often is one of my teammates in college was from this small town in Indiana called New Washington, tiny little town closer to Kentucky. And I went home with her for the weekend to visit what life was like for her. And we became such even closer teammates after that moment because I'm from the city of St. Louis and she's from this tiny little country town in Indiana. And it really forged our bond in ways that it wouldn't have occurred had I not gone there. So that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, so I feel like when you make those connections, um, you know, I don't think any of my kids really enjoyed school too much because they don't fit into that perfect
Hmm.
student kind of box that everybody's expected to fit into. But they all did really well in school, so at least I had that. But I think sports for two of my kids, sports was a really good way to stay connected, sports and music, and then my other child was involved in the arts. But just to have that connection with, kids your own age and feel like you're part of something, a part of a community is really, really important. I
Yes.
want to go back to when you spent your time in Colombia. Tell me a little bit about that experience. And you were working with kids, right?
No, I
No.
went there. So I went to Colombia initially to do a
Okay.
basketball camp,
Oh, okay.
and that was amazing. And
Okay.
then there were a number of friends who were living there, and they were all just working remote. They all had various types of businesses. Some either worked for a company and were working remote. Others were entrepreneurs. Met tons of entrepreneurs, and I launched this PR agency because I published books before. So here, let me do the close the loop. When I
Okay.
published my books prior, people would ask, how did you do that? And I did all of the media outreach myself. And so years later, podcast became a much bigger platform. And I started reaching out to people asking if they needed help because I'd never worked remote before and I didn't speak Spanish fluently at the time. And so I started just a really small little agency helping people find and reach out so they can share their stories more.
Yeah, I bet that was a lot of fun. And I actually bet that kind of forced you to like really learn Spanish well.
It did. Being
Yeah.
being out there really did.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I bet that was a really cool experience. I want to ask you just a few questions about your self-care practices today. So I know that, playing the sports and being involved in that was very important to you and a big
Mhm.
part of your life. But when it comes to you personally, what are, and this sports might be one of them, but what are some of the ways that you take care of yourself on the deepest level to stay
Mhm.
healthy, happy, and energized?
Sure. So I have these rituals. A few years ago, I hired a health and wellness coach, and Marquita was amazing. Changed my life in the best of ways because I started thinking about longevity. And to your point, what are the things that I can do forever where
Mm-hmm.
I feel healthy? So I always start my day with tea, some warm tea. I drink
Nice.
about a cup of water, and then I get a glass of hot tea every day. And then I move on to the coffee after the tea.
That's
And
good.
then I love sport. I love dance as well. So I love to salsa.
Mm-hmm.
And at least once a week, I'll go somewhere and just dance to a salsa social. Or
Mm-hmm.
I'll just turn the music on. Yesterday, I was in St. Louis visiting mom, and I turned the music on, and we just danced for a song, and it was beautiful. So
Yeah.
similar to, sport, you just kind of escape in the moment. So
Mm-hmm.
dance is a big part of who I am and what I enjoy. In terms of nutrition, I eat oatmeal
Yeah.
almost every day. It's oatmeal with cinnamon and walnuts and blueberries or apples pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And then rest is important to me. And I pay attention to my body more. So I'm not on a specific clock as much as I listen. And when I need rest, I need it and I take it.
Mm-hmm.
So those are just some of the things. And then I talk to family and friends. Community is important. So I'm really intentional about staying connected to family
Yeah,
and
I
friends.
think it's really important what you said about rest. You listen to your body because even sometimes when you're getting enough sleep at night, if you're not having like those really good sleep cycles, you might still wake up tired.
Mm-hmm.
And forcing your way through a day is just no way to live. And
Yeah.
I don't think I started listening to my body until I was in my 40s, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
Like
Same here.
I did not, I just pushed through everything. And I see my kids
Hmm.
doing that as well. And now I'm just like, like I try to do yoga every day, but sometimes I'm tired and I don't want to do a yoga class. So I'm
Hmm.
like, well, how do I feel right now? What kind of yoga do I want to do? Maybe I'll just do a
Yeah.
yin yoga, or maybe I'll just do meditation, or so like I'm so much kinder to myself now, and I don't push myself, and I just feel like I'm so much happier when I do that. And sometimes I don't want to run. Sometimes I just want to go for a walk, I just want
Hmm.
quiet, slow, whatever. And so I think that's really important that you said that, to honor
Yeah.
your body and honor what you know is good for you.
Yes. And I love what you said too, Tina. I just used to push through. So
Hmm.
there's value in knowing that you can push through. Like
Yeah.
there's something inside where like, yeah, I've been
Hmm.
tough. I know what it's like to do hard things. I have the capacity to do hard things. And in this season, I'm going to allow my body to rest. I know
Hmm.
that movement is most important. So maybe I don't go run, I walk. I know that I usually do yoga, but maybe I just need to sit here and stretch and drink this tea and calm
Hmm.
my mind. So we know that to be healthy for a long time, we have to do the things, we have to do something all the time. And so
Hmm.
deciding what that is really becomes a, a plethora of, it could be a plethora of different things that allow us to keep that movement and focus.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually somewhat proud of myself that I'm able to like do this now because it was I guess I don't like calling myself a type A personality, but I guess I kind of am. And like relaxing and just letting stuff go, like and realizing that it doesn't really matter how much I get done in a day most of the time. It's not going to make like this big difference,
Hmm.
is a big deal for me to let go of
Yeah.
that. And so I always like kind of to like pat myself on the back, when I try to do something for myself. It's just really important.
Yes.
So moving forward, I know you just wrote this book, and is it out? Is it
Not yet. It
not
will be
yet?
out at the end of the month. We're
End of month. Okay.
99% finished, Tina. We're like right
Okay.
there, waiting for the
So,
final approval.
so I don't want to like push anything, but I just want to ask you what do you think is new and on the horizon for you? What is a dream that you have that you want to speak into the universe right now?
The biggest dream that I have right now, I've been thinking about this for I think about this every day, is that the book isn't it's not a book. It's an experience for young girls. And so we'll read the book, or kids in general, not only girls.
Hmm.
We'll I'll read the book and then we'll do a basketball program associated with it. And so the book comes to life. There will be salsa music playing in the background. We'll be counting in Spanish. So it integrates English and Spanish learning through sport. And I will travel the country and to other parts of the world doing these basketball immersion cultural experiences with kids from different backgrounds. So that's
Oh,
the big
love
vision.
that. I love that. It sounds like it's going to happen. You said it, so it's going to happen.
Yes, 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 yes. I have some things scheduled. I have a basketball camp scheduled in Colombia at the end of May.
Oh,
And
wow.
so it's like just right there. So I'll be reaching out to sponsors and getting support for the book and for the experiences for kids.
That's very exciting. That's very exciting. Okay, so how can everybody find you?
You can find me at AngelaRLewis.com. So my website, AngelaRLewis.com. You can
Okay.
find me on LinkedIn, Angela R. Lewis, the one in Dallas,
Okay.
and Instagram, the Angela R. Lewis.
Okay. And stuff. So I'll put all those
YouTube.
links in the show note. And I'm assuming that when the book comes out, they'll be able to find that on your website.
Yes, yes, you'll be able to find
Okay.
on my website and on Amazon or check out a local event. I'm planning some touring dates, which I'm really excited about as
Okay.
well. So a lot of
So
goodness coming up.
all that will be on your website,
Yes.
and that link will be in the show notes. It's been such a pleasure hanging out with you today.
Yes, I've enjoyed it. I'm so glad we could finally chat.
Yes,
Thank you for your patience.
yes. Well, yeah, you too. I think I rescheduled a couple of times as well. I feel like we were like going back and forth a couple of times.
But we stay
So,
committed to making it happen.
yes, it happened. So, and I'm glad it did. And thank you again for everything that you do in the world. And it's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new one. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps get the show in front of more people who might need this type of support. And if you're ready to take your everyday self-care even deeper, come join us inside the Soul Aligned Life Patreon. Every week, you'll get new self-care practices and tools to help reduce stress and overwhelm. Plus, we do a monthly reset to keep you aligned and supported always. You'll find the link in the show notes, and I'd love to see you there. Until next time, be sure to take good care of yourself. Love you. Bye.